Welcome back to Sacred Success Salon, where we are speaking about how to own your power, live your purpose, and claim your prosperity. I'm your host, Anna Kowalska, and today I am so excited, first of all, to welcome back to the salon the amazing John Burgos. Welcome, John.
Oh, it's great to be here. Thank you so much.
So great to have you. The second reason why I'm excited is the conversation you and I get to have with everybody who's watching right now, which is the conversation about the new flow of prosperity. But before we go there, let me just say a couple sentences about who you are and why I'm really excited to have you in a salon. So if any of you don't know who John Burgos is, he's the creator of the extremely fantastic, I cannot even say big enough words about it, the Beyond the Ordinary show. I've been following John for many years as he's been building that show, and it's just never disappoints. So not only is he sharing from his own wisdom, but also wisdom that he gathers from many other amazing experts in the field of development and transformation. He also is, I love it, he's just, your bio is so, it's just so simple but so potent. You are called to be of service and to lead whatever you learn, which is so powerful, to share embodied experiences in the name of love. And this is something that I really love. You are bridging the gap between the mind and the heart, bringing light to information kept in the dark, and illuminating the intelligence of relationship between personal development and spiritual awakening. I love this part. Illuminating the intelligence of the relationship between personal development and spiritual awakening. I love it because that was a huge gap for me for a very, very long time. So when I read your bio, it just pulled me. So the rest of it, you guys can read about John right below the video. Let's talk about I love right before we click the record button, you said, we are stepping into a new way of being with prosperity. There is a new way of embodying the flow of it. And I can't imagine a better person to talk about it than you.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, the name of your show is just on point, Sacred Success. And for anyone listening to the replay, it's like, what does that mean to you? I mean, really pause for a second. Sacred success. It sounds like a great phrase. It sounds wonderful. It's like, I want that, but what does that mean? And there can be judgments about how we can step into that, because there are a lot of judgments about what success is supposed to be, or what it looks like, or what it feels for us, but someone else may think that it's not successful.
Yeah.
Or that we've given part of ourselves up for that success. And that's not sacred success if we're giving something up of ourselves, if we're compromising our integrity, or if we're compromising other people, if we're creating abundance in one place, but lack in another, either within ourselves or within our dynamics or in the world. And so how do you engender sacred success? What does that mean to you guys? And so this is a topic that's dear to me, because this phrase has even become available. These two words coming together in that way is really a barometer for me, that how we define success and the way that we achieve it is in a big paradigm change right now. And many of you are already stepping into it, but we're suffering a little bit the letting go of how we built success in the past, because it's shifting. It's like maybe things were going up and things seemed to be right, and we were accumulating and things were, but it felt empty. Or maybe we were used to doing a certain thing and then it kind of stalled for a little bit. It's like, but I was on this upward hill, and what happened? I feel like I hit a glass ceiling and I can't quite break out of it. And for those of y'all who may be in that place is just, it's a pause place. As the collective is rising to meet these things, as the old foundations and structures that can't support the new type of success that we're engendering as a humanity, those things have to fall apart. And so the sacred success that you've built up to this point, it's that holding space for the collective. Just trust that for a minute. And if you feel like, but I'm ready to move forward, just hold. Those doors are going to open wide, and your next level of that is going to come in. So it's powerful. And I know I haven't gotten into the specifics of what it is, but I just want to pause for a second, Anna, because I'll manipulate this whole conversation.
No, this is great. And everything you've spoken to so far. So two things that really stood out to me. One is looking at different areas of your life, right? So we absolutely, we stand for prosperity. We're being represented in the form of money and allowing ourselves to have what we need and desire, right? So not to give up. I love what you said. Not giving up parts of yourself for something else, right? To me, very often I see people giving away their gifts, their soul gifts, their precious work that they're here to do, and just giving it away, not necessarily because we have to charge for everything, but just not allowing themselves to receive what they need and require in exchange for it, right?
Well, there's an alchemy that's really stirring profoundly, and it's always been there, but we're more embodied of it. So again, in this awakening process, in the process of where personal development meets spiritual awakening,
Yeah.
we're in that phase right now, in that alchemy. And this is where so many of y'all who are used to going high and out there and getting that euphoric feeling of connecting to your guides, having out-of-body experiences, having your energy field really expand wide open and just want to hang there. Why wouldn't you, right? And then there's an aspect that many of us who have done that, we don't quite know how to put our feet underground for an extended period of time. To really ground things in, to bring them into physical form, to allow it to be an expression of that divine. And then, of course, the people who are really hunkered in, who are really good at grounding things, and they're like, okay, I'm going to get stuff done. And that part of the divine is calling them to them. And they're glimpsing inspiration and creating from that inspiration. But what if there's a continual flow of that inspiration streaming through? It's not like a one-hit wonder and it goes away, and then you get it again, sometime in the future, and then you get that wonder again, and then you create again, or you don't.
Yeah.
And so we're learning how to get into the balance of it. We're experiencing the merging of both, because both were necessary. Those who are really grounded, those who are really going to other places and coming back in to share, but not quite sure how. And we're landing in that middle place. And it's that foundational place that is the phase that is awakening this new paradigm of success. And this new paradigm of success has that balance equation to it as well. And the equation is really simple, but it's one of the most difficult things that many people will do. For those who are very grounded, to receive can be easy. It's easy. It's like, okay, I'm going to receive this, I'm going to receive that, I'm going to receive this, and I'm going to put it together. And sometimes the giving out so much is like, I'll give it out in little siphons that make me feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And let me get this, because I have to accumulate, because I have to make sure that my foundation is good. And then how much of that foundation do I need? How much of the accumulation? How many houses do I own? How many cars? How many trips do I take? How much money do I give to charity that makes me feel comfortable while I still have all this other stuff hoarded? And then life starts feeling empty. It's like, what else do I do? But the imprint of the accumulation is already there, and that's what guides. Those who live from up here, many of y'all on this call, give, because if people receive from me, then it's amazing. It's amazing. I feel so good. I feel like I'm up here all the time. And when this depletes down here at the bottom, it's okay. I'll suffer through it for a while, and I'll create, and and I'll just suffer through it. It's just part of my phase. It's the way that I am. And we're meeting in the balance again.
Yeah.
Those who function up here is like, you're learning how to receive. And receiving can be one of the most difficult initiations that you'll ever go through. When you have to drop your guard to truly receive without the need to give back. Without the need that there is, without the thought that there's an expectation of you. That it's safe, that something is going to be taken away, that a wall of protection isn't going to diminish that you've built because it wasn't safe to receive before. It felt too uncomfortable. And y'all are going through that initiation. you have to, where we're going, be in the vibration of receiving. And we're all going through it.
Yeah.
And I say have to, it's because it's a natural, organic evolution that we're in. Like the flower has to blossom unless, of course, it doesn't get nourished. But there's plenty of places where you're getting nourished. There's plenty of places where we're here to water your soul, water your heart, to bring sunlight into this luminous light that you are, so that you can thrive as you learn to receive. For those of people who are grounded and get, receive, the giving is like, it's okay to open up to give. It's okay to give from your love and to express it, to believe that everything is not going to be taken away from you if you give too much. If I give too much, people are going to have expectations. I'm going to have to show up all the time. Something is going to be taken away from me.
You just identified.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I interrupted you, because you just identified some key ways in which I know, first of all, I had to learn, and I lived in both worlds for some time. I lived in the very grounded, and then I went into, all the other dimensions, and I lived there. So I experienced both sides of that, not wanting, the way you just said it, I know that many of you who are watching us right now will find yourself in what John just shared. And nobody has ever probably said it to you in a way that John just said, right?
Probably not, no.
And it's so accurate, right? Like being afraid to give because you're afraid it will be taken away from you. And then the part that you said, and I want to go deeper into that because there was something really precious and I just got chills. So let's go there. Once you start giving, you'll have to show up all the time. Something will always be expected from you. I have a sense that a lot of people do not show up giving their gifts, their soul gifts, sharing, even if it means creating their work in the world at the level to which they really are meant to, is because they are afraid that there will be an expectancy of always being on, always having to show up. And they don't know it yet. Like you guys probably are watching and there is at least one person right now, you don't know it, but your subconscious is stopping you because there is already a fear you're going to have to always show up.
No, I think that's a fantastic point. And I experience in people who are trying to create courses and memberships and show up for digital programs or commit to a particular, well, if I commit to that, then I have to keep doing it.
Right.
I don't want to have to show up every Monday night at 5:00 in the afternoon. No way. It's like, I'm not putting myself in that prison. And it's the thought that it's a prison. It's the thought that it's engulfing you to a point that you can't put yourself out there because of the expectation. And it's where do we find our heart in that? Where do we find this beautiful reciprocal energy that wants to be gifted to you as you give? And that's what I'm finding in this alchemy. And this has been happening for years now. And I love talking about it. And it's an awareness that y'all have, but I want to just bring the awareness and make it vibrant here on this call. I'll share it with this. Oh, there's a beautiful hummingbird hanging outside. I love that. I had an experience quite a few years ago where I was guided to sit in front of this candle and just meditate and just open up the space. And then as I dropped in, it's like the room just kept expanding and expanding and expanding. I got into this liminal state where my body felt like it was floating. I was somewhere else at the same time, very grounded in my being. And as I started receiving this light from this candle and started having a relationship with me, I started having this overwhelming feeling of receiving of the divine just flooding me with so much love, with so much abundance of receiving, of being accepted, of being loved, of being at one with that energy. And I couldn't contain it. And it kept coming in and coming in. I was so grateful. Tears are flowing in. And so my response is like, okay, I'm just going to give it back out. And this is this chalice. Think of it like a holy grail. And as much was coming in, I kept trying to put it back out into the world. It's like, I have so much, let me give it out. And the more I gave, the more that would come in. The more I gave, the more that would come in. Over. And I was just overwhelmed, not because it was suffocating, but because who am I to receive all of this? I need to give it to others. Who am I to receive? I need to give it to others. And that's what happens when we enter into these sacred exchanges, sacred success.
Yeah.
That once you receive, you can't help but to want to give it to others. It's probably why you started the show. It's why I started my show. My life has changed so much that I want to share this with as many people as I can.
Yeah.
And I don't care if I share it with one person or a million people. If that one person hears it, thank God, because someone's life got to benefit from what I received, not from what I know, not from what I got, not from what I've accumulated, but from what I've received.
Mm-hmm.
And that's success right there. Once you get into that flow and you're in it, and there's a particular sweet spot in it, in the giving and receiving.
Yeah.
And once you get there, you know what sacred success is. Everything in your life flows around that. And those things that don't quite work out the way we wanted, we understand that they're aligning us, because we're always in that beautiful flow of success. But it is a natural, organic event that's occurring. So there is going to be some chaos to it sometimes. There is going to be some alignment.
Yeah.
And we learn to breathe into it. We learn to trust and have faith, not only in the divine, but more importantly, if you can believe this or not, it's when we learn to have trust and faith in ourselves that we can actually embody the possibility of having trust and faith in something outside of us.
What does your trust in yourself look like from a business owner perspective that is creating sacred success? You absolutely are not even a question about it. What does your trust look like? What does it mean to you?
Oh, that's such a great question. I talk about it in our membership quite a bit. And that trust factor is like, look at all the situations you've been in your life before. The fears, the worries, the concerns about finances, about relationship, about your health, and look at where you are now. It's like all those fears that you had before and all the worries, not that they weren't legitimate. I would say, yes, they were perfect. They were absolutely real. 100%. And I want you guys to own that they were real, because a lot of times in these communities, like, well, it was a story and it's this, and that wasn't really what was happening. No, if that was your experience, that was absolutely 100% real.
Yeah.
Okay. And here you are today. And here you are today. You not only survived, you survived. You made it through it. Not you overcame or you went through that challenge. It's like, all right, you made it through it. And of course you overcame. And of course you changed because of that experience. And somehow you managed to find footing in this place where you sit now. If those same situations were to come up again, you're not the same person that you were back then. And you overcame them. And so your capacity to overcome those fears, those challenges again, are stronger, more innate. They're like, you've got it in you. You don't have to worry perhaps as much as you did before. And so there's this trust of the journey that we've been on. There's the trust of being aware of who you've become. There's a trust in that somehow, if you really look back in your life, things always kind of seem to work out in your favor. I can guarantee you that is accurate for most everybody. Most everybody. There's other very specific situations where it's very difficult, and I want to have a lot of compassion and empathy for that as well.
Yeah.
But for the majority of us, everything's worked out for us.
Yeah.
And if we look at the history, then you start thinking, it's like, well, hold on a second. It's always really working out for me. Those fears, I've lived a pretty good life. It's not going to be taken away from me. It's not all going to go away all at once. And I've learned to trust my voice along the way, my intuition, my connection with my guides, my connection with my higher self and oversoul, my connection with my little one, my inner child, and opening up dialogue with that and listening, and where it's landed me as I've had faith and said yes and listened to those things, and realizing also when I didn't listen, how things kind of fell down and apart in a path that I didn't like. And I learned to attune to the truth and the wisdom of that guidance that's been coming in.
Mhm.
And if I get it wrong, that's just part of the journey. It's not getting it wrong. It's redirecting me somewhere.
Yeah.
And so from that, where I sit now, and the love and the abundance comes from the connection of heart that I feel with others. Truly.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else opens from there, that I'm so blessed to receive. Yeah, I'm going to listen to that, of course. And that's where that trust and faith comes from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So great. Oh, there was so much wisdom in anybody who is creating their sacred success, building their business, putting out their work in the world. The way you just described the trust, and the way you said trusting yourself by knowing where you've been and where you've come, it's huge, because you'll know that whatever comes, there is a pretty good chance, historically, you've proven yourself you can handle it. Even if it all goes away, and you said it's not all gonna go away at the same time, but I have a feeling that even if it did, because you've created it, it's been imprinted in your being, you can recreate it in some other way maybe, but you can recreate it. And that's a level of trust as well in yourself, I bet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So another thing you mentioned that I definitely want to spend a little bit of time on is this whole idea of pause, right? Because I know a lot of people out there right now. Media was saying there is a pause happening when pandemic happened. I believe, and you spoke, and tell me if I'm right about this, there is a pause happening for people who are doing work at different dimensions in this sacred space, right? We are being asked for the next level, but there is this kind of like reshuffling happening in our energetic fields right now. Is that what you meant by the pause?
Yeah, there's definitely a shuffle happening. Some of y'all who are in that sacred success space now, we'll call it,
Mm-hmm.
and you've embodied it, and you're there, and you're flowing with it, and you have an awareness of an energy, a beingness
Mm-hmm.
that you hold and carry. And for me, that is what is going to shift the world. That beingness, that awareness that you have. Own it with confidence. Wear it on your sleeve for others to see. Please, please do not stay in the closet about it, and share it in whatever way
Mm-hmm.
feels appropriate or divine for you.
Mm-hmm.
But what's happening also, as many are starting to embody that capacity to hold that luminosity within them,
Mm-hmm.
and just be an expression of it without having it can be defined in different ways, but you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Just you being that. There's this space where it's just kind of like, it's just humming and holding, and you want it to take off. You like want it to take off like a rocket, and it's like, it's just holding in that space, because you're creating a foundation for others to be able to resonate up to that. And it has to be steady, or else it can be missed. It has to be steady for other people who haven't done the work like you have, or who haven't had direct experiences, or never even thought to look through the doorways that you've looked through before.
Mm-hmm.
But all of a sudden they're seeing those doorways through the hallways, like, what's that?
Mm-hmm.
They're seeing your light over there. They're feeling your energy. And there's a collective group that are just, again, holding it steady. Not that it's slowing down your progression, but in the work that you're doing, it's like, if it can't be received here, if you go up here, you're not gonna be able to see it. It's like you trying to see a spirit if you're not used to seeing spirits.
Yeah.
It's like you kind of become that ghost in the field, because it's like, I feel something, but I don't quite know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So we're holding here so that more people, the collective, this is our collective work. This is our service to humanity, truly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're just holding that field steady enough for other people to be aware, to become more aware. And as more people do that, then you'll be able to take off. You'll be able to go to the next place. And some of y'all are doing that in different ways. But if you feel the frustration or feeling stuck or don't know what's next, and you know something's coming, but you don't know what it is,
Mm-hmm.
it's just know that that's happening, and enjoy the pause.
Mm-hmm.
Slow down, be present, Smell the flowers. Stop and give your loved one a hug. Listen to the conversation more deeply than you have before. Enjoy that next bite of your meal in ways that you haven't in a long time. This is your gift of being human. To be able to hold someone in physical form is a gift that spirit form doesn't have. To be able to have your mouth water over a succulent piece of fruit that you're going to put in your mouth. Spirit doesn't have that gift. So pause. This is your gift right now. Pause and feel your humanness, because it is a gift to be human.
So beautiful what you just shared, John. Two things. First of all, the gift of being human, being in a physical form. I speak to it so much because I really truly believe that we get to step into the next level of reverence of what it is to be in a physical form, right? So I love that you brought that into our attention. Second, where you started, this permission, and I felt it. I literally am tearing up just thinking about it. Sometimes we have this notion that, oh, some people are at a certain different level. I want to go to that 12th dimension and be there. I want to vibrate that space. And what you just shared was such a beautiful permission for people to just say, you know, it's okay for you to be where you are. Doesn't mean that you are not going to be there or go there, or maybe you're already there, but there are people waiting for you, right? And the people that are waiting for you, you know, I'm going to say this, there are so many people love to follow gurus, right? Still, people love to follow gurus, but the gurus are so far ahead, right, that they cannot relate to the frequency to where people who are just beginning the journey are. So if those of us who maybe have been on a journey and have the wisdom and have the discipline to be connected to spirit and just to do the things and be in a way that helps us hold the space, if those of us can hold the steady foundation, even as you were sharing it, the steady foundation, so people can feel safe jumping onto this plane, right? And taking a ride. That is just such a beautiful space that I think a lot of our viewers right now that are watching this can take I feel a collective sigh of like, okay, I'm going to hold the space for those who I am here to serve with this frequency, with this steady foundation. I'm not going to rush to be anywhere else, where just be here, hold the space, solidity, where everything else, right? The old is being wherever it's being wobbly. Let's be the solid.
And holding that space isn't that you have to pause your progression. No, just if you're feeling that hovering of the energy and it's not, doesn't seem to go anywhere right now, if you kind of feel like, again, you've hit that glass ceiling, or you're like ready to take off somewhere else right now, but it's not quite taking off, it's just the organic, natural process of the evolution that we're in. Don't stymie your growth thinking I have to hold this space steady for other people to catch up. Don't judge any of it. I'm just bringing you an awareness of what's happening very naturally, very organically, and why you might feel that there's a little period of stagnation. It's not stagnation. You're building, and as you're building, allow that part of you, other part of you, to relax into. It's like, all right, I'm gonna enjoy being right here, right now, because this other thing's happening. It's like, all right, I don't have to pack my bags quite just yet. The plane isn't taking off. So imagine, again, you're traveling and you have a 14-day layover in Hawaii. And you know you have to be somewhere, but you can't get there because the plane can't take off, but you know it's going to be 14 days, kinda, or more or less. Pull out the bathing suit and hang out. They'll let you know when your ship's ready to take off. You will absolutely know, and there'll be no mistaking it. Enjoy the ocean, enjoy the sun, enjoy the tropical fruits and the sea breezes while you're hanging out.
Oh, so great. So great. The wisdom you've shared with us is just, it is the sacred success. It's both being able to hold the space for what's next, but also and allowing yourself to receive, but also allowing yourself to be where you are right now and give yourself the space for to enjoy whatever it is that the moment that you are in.
Incredible. Well, it's through that enjoyment, through that pleasure, through the joy, through the receiving and embodying it, which is grounding it, that we actually amplify our field even more. It is part of what we're doing as we're shifting in vibrational coherence here on Earth. We're bringing in that capacity to be in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11D, whatever you want to call it, as an expression of being human. If you're experiencing being in 12D as a human being, guess what? It's not that you get to live in 12D, is that you're showing that it's possible to have it here in human form. And so you get to ground it for us. Thank you very much.
So good. Amazing. And a beautiful place. Oh, I wish I could keep asking you questions because your wisdom is just so potent, but at the same time, very clear. It's very clear and it's very grounded. So thank you for bringing it all to the salon. And I know that you have a gift for our audience so they can get into your world and get more of that wisdom that you have. So could you share with,
Yeah, we provided the alchemical meditation, which is, it's a meditation on how to really reverse engineer your future. And it's not that we want to future project and be so in the future than not living in the now. This process actually allows you to bring into the now all those things that you feel that your heart desires and have the experience of it. And from that experience, your capacity to create it is tremendous. But I have to warn you, it's a long process. It's about an hour-long meditation, and I did it long. I created it long on purpose. Because I want you to be able to hold the field steady in that vibrational frequency that allows you to create. Again, if we can hold the thought long enough, we can create the reality of it. What happens with a lot of different short processes that we glimpse what the feeling is, and it's wonderful because they allow us to attune, to build up muscles and all this. But I'm giving you guys full credit for having done work, for having sat long enough with yourself for all this, and to hold your consciousness steady for longer periods of time. So it's just, you become this marathoner of energetics. And the more that you can practice that, your capacity to create and to manifest become exponential, which is amazing.
So great. I was actually at some point going to ask you, what is it that you do on a regular basis right now to sustain the field that you are in? And I think the gift that you are giving us is exactly what we need. It's perfect.
I think it's great. And but also what I have been doing, it's been more and more obvious for me, is that I feel myself softening even more. I feel my heart cracking open and surrendering in innocence. That is surprising me in ways that I never expected. I feel that my guard is down, that my fear of being hurt or something being taken away from me is not something that runs the show. And I didn't think it ran it before, but in this state of surrender and of innocence, really, I'm realizing how much I did hold it. In ways that, again, I didn't believe that I did. And so that softening and that surrender into that, allowing my heart to break open because of that trust and faith, I think. And also because the way that others are demonstrating their relational dynamics with me as well. So the alignments of other people showing up in our lives, being a mirror for that cracking open is beautiful. It's never a solo journey. We always do it with others, always. And so again, when we start receiving the feedback from other people who are demonstrating the love that we're capable of receiving, everything shifts.
Breathe that in, because that was really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us, John.
Thank you, Anna. This has been amazing. Thank you so much.
So good. Thank you. So make sure you click the button below the video, claim the gift, allow yourself the space of the meditation, the process that John is gifting you. Do it a lot so you can hold the space and get into John's world. As you can see, he is just full of wisdom, groundedness. And what I appreciate about you is just very honest sharing of your experience. Yeah, really, it's very authentic, honest sharing.
Yeah, That's I don't know how else to share. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so great. Really amazing. Thank you for being in the salon again. You guys claim the gift, get into John's world, and we'll see you at the next conversation. Bye for
Bye.
now.